Ciao ragazzi, benvenuti a Roma. Welcome to Rome. I'm going to start off by apologizing because I have a couple of different formats that I do these videos in. And unfortunately, I got caught in the rain today and I couldn't really finish up. So, no, video in front of anything exotic. I'm not walking around anywhere. I'm back to basically this kind of boring kitchen, which is, you know, deep in the heart of Rome, but I mean, based on the walls, like I could be anywhere, right? So anyway, I still had a really good day. It was just cut a little short. And, I got a chance to check out my rain gear, which is really working. Um, but I started off today being really, really tired from yesterday. So I wasn't in any big hurry to go anywhere. I think I finally left the apartment around noon, after a few cups of coffee and, you know, watching some YouTube. Just, um, wasn't in a hurry. And that's fine. It was a good rest. Had a nice sleep. I really enjoy the mattress in this apartment. It's very soft and very nice. But when I did finally decide to go somewhere, I figured since I had already kind of started, I'd go on a great pilgrimage. And by that I mean, I've mentioned in other videos that according to the Catholic Church, at least, there are four major basilicas. The rest of the churches that we call basilicas are technically minor basilicas. And so I've already been to Santa Maria Maggiore uh, the other day, and two of them are a little further away. One in particular is right down on the south end of town. I am on the extreme southwest of the city to visit this place right here, San Paolo al Fiori del Muro, St. Paul's outside the walls. Um, it's one of the four major basilicas, or the four papal basilicas. I've mentioned in other videos about how there's basilicas, but there's basilicas. These are major basilicas, and technically there are only four of them. The rest are called minor basilicas, and all four are in Rome, although this one just barely. It's a fantastic space. I was absolutely amazed. It is huge, for one thing. It's in this very nondescript neighborhood where you wouldn't have expected this big major church. Um, I haven't even gotten inside yet. It doesn't get a lot of visitors. So if you do want to go and wow yourself with a fantastic church, basilica, major basilica, this is the spot because not only does it impress, it's immense, it's huge. Like I've described these places like airport hangars, right? And it has those huge columns, and you don't even really appreciate how big they are until you see someone at the other end. Um, and there's a tiny little speck, big column. The ceilings are amazing, and because it's a super old church, it has those that particular style of painting the domes, and in particular, like an Eastern Orthodox look, a Byzantine look, Jesus that is in the domes, which I find really cool, especially like because I became so familiar with it when you see the Sicilian style of church. Um, so it was really interesting to see that because in Italy and other places that look kind of evolved away, um, and so the really old churches still preserve that look, that pre-Renaissance Byzantine kind of look. It's really neat. And of course, I lit a candle for Nancy, which most of the churches seem to be more about, you drop the coin and it automatically creates a candle, which I'm fine with. But uh, that's two basilicas down now for Nancy, which is really nice. While I was so far down south, there was a couple of other little spots that I figured I'd check out. So I rode the subway all the way down. Then I rode the subway a little further up, and I checked out the Pyramid of Cestius. Cestius was a praetor back in the day, and he created this big, huge pyramid as his own tomb. And it's like it's this great big pyramid thing. And right beside there is the Porta San Puala, which is the southernmost gate into the walls of Rome back in the day when the walls were still up. It was really interesting to see. It was a glimpse of like what the walls would have looked like at the time. But both areas are closed. They're both closed today. Yeah, it didn't look like my day was turning out very well. So back on the subway I got, and I headed out to go see the last of the four basilicas. And in order to do that, I had to stop by the Colosseum metro stop, which is at an intersection of two metro lines. Um, so it gave me the opportunity to walk around the Colosseum. But of course, I walked from the Colosseum metro to the last basilica, and it's quite an interesting walk. It's a lot longer than you think.
One of the ways that Rome really messes with you is this forced perspective, right? Everything's so big, but very far away. But you don't think it's very far away because that is the Colosseum. And it's like, oh yeah, it's just right over there. But the Colosseum is huge, and it makes it look like it's only about 5 minutes away, but that's easily a 10-minute walk. Whew. Of course, this way, it's up a hill.
And of course, the cool thing about that too is, and I'll talk about this later when I've collected a little bit more footage, but with all of the obelisks, when you're at one of the obelisks, you're supposed to at least be able to see one more. And then if you were to travel to the next one, you should see another one and all that. It's really interesting, and it really makes use of the hills around Rome and the big wide um, roads that go down and up into those hills. And so if you have an obelisk here and a big wide road, and you see another obelisk, it's easier to see that, right? And then another one over here. It's really really cool. Anyway, the last basilica was the Basilica di San Giovanni in Laterano. It is immense. It's huge. And much like St. Paul's, it has huge columns. It has huge statues of all the saints. It has an amazing roof. It has a big dome painted on the inside with that Byzantine Eastern Orthodox style Jesus, but also a bunch of more Renaissance looking paintings that were like frescoes that were implemented later, and all the little chapels around with some really fantastic artwork. And it is impressive. And I didn't know this, but this was actually the first of the major basilicas. This was the original major basilica, and it's still supposedly the seat where the Pope is supposed to come. And so yeah, it's amazing. There is a few little places that are like cordoned off, a couple of the little private chapels and that, and there is I think a cloister that you have to pay to go see, and I just didn't get a chance to go and check that out. But yeah, it's an impressive space. It's huge. I hung out there a little longer. I took a seat and was reading about the place a little bit because it seemed like a very comfortable space to just kind of hang out. And in all the majesty and everything. And of course, I lit another candle for Nancy. Um, so Nancy's got three basilicas, major basilicas, papal basilicas, in which she's had a candle lit for her. So I think there's one last task I need to do before I leave Rome. I've got 3 more weeks to do it, so you know it shouldn't be a problem. But the last basilica that I need to visit physically inside is St. Pete's. I've been around St. Pete's. I've walked all the way around it. I've been in the Vatican Museum, in some of the chapels and that, but I haven't actually been in St. Pete's inside. So I have to do that. Uh, I'm really looking forward to that. That's gonna be something else. So yeah, that was my day. I was going to walk past. I did walk past Saint Marie Maggiore.
Uh-oh. Looks like it's going to rain. I should head back. It's hailing. Did I do this? Is this God's wrath? Of this heathen going into the most sacred churches? Ow! So I definitely didn't plan this, but that's Santa Maria Maggiore. So I will have walked by all 4 of the major basilicas, or Basilica Papales.
And I was going to walk back past St. Pete's, which would have been all 4. But like I said, it started to rain, and it actually hailed at one point, and it was getting hit on the head and everything. And so yeah, I had no choice but to, head back. I was gonna go hit a restaurant on my way back because this is a weekend. I figured, but I tried getting into a couple of places, and I've mentioned this before. It's sometimes tough. They don't really seat you if you're like a single, like one person. Um, and so yeah, I got a pizza. It was okay. Like it was good. Like it was good pizza. Um, but yeah, I was looking for something a little bit more substantial at the time, but that's fine. And now I'm home. I'm dry. I'm warmed up, and I'm ready for bed. So uh, we'll do it all again tomorrow. There'll be another video tomorrow. That's why you should subscribe if you haven't already. Really helps me out, having more subscribers. So I also really love the likes and the comments. Please keep them coming. I really appreciate that. And I hope you guys are doing well. And I hope that you're planning your own adventures. If I can be of any help, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Ciao ragazzi. Arrivederci. Good night. Oh, I almost forgot. Pastry of the day. I bought these yesterday when I was in Trastevere, because there's a very special place that's super high rated for their cookies. And I was struggling with my Italian, couldn't really ask for right things. So I was like, I took photos and was pointing on my phone. So I wanted to get the biscottis, and she recommended these ones. She said they're good for coffee. Mm. They're really good. But because I'm greedy, I also got one of these. I discovered these in Spain. I've heard different things about who invented them, but this is a super light pastry in the same realm as like a croissant. So very airy, layered, but shaped like a little heart. Usually they're a lot smaller than this. This is huge. It's like the size of my head. And this one has a little powdered sugar on the one side, which is quite interesting. But you'd think they're rather plain and just like, yeah, good pastry, but they're quite delicious. Very good. Oh, see, I tried to break off a piece, but it's just so flaky. and just really good. The ones I was getting in Spain had a little chocolate in it, but they don't need it. They're good just on their own. Pastry of the day.